We are husbands. We're fathers. We're brothers. We're uncles. We're confidants. We're leaders. We're bosses. All right. There's so many people that rely and count on us to be available, to be healthy.
Welcome to Healthy Living, Wellness and Prevention, Medical Innovation, the Informed Side of Care. Welcome to Baptist Health Talk.
Good afternoon, everyone. Beautiful day.
Good morning.
So, actually, good morning.
Yeah, exactly, Doc.
I got to fly to New York from here, so my head's a little spacey.
All right.
So first, I'm a cardiologist in the Baptist community. I still practice. I also have executive functions. And, one of the reasons I'm here and we're here is for my passion for prevention, early detection, and most importantly, educating people about what they can do to stay healthy. And again, an ambassador and a prominent example of what can be done in the positive, like Zoe. It's really rewarding to be here. I joined the Baptist system in 1991, and I've seen it grow to 12 hospitals, 27,000 employees, millions of patient encounters. And while we want to be the destination site for people who have significant medical problems, and we are, we also recognize the Baptist mission is evidenced by being here today: wellness, prevention, education. And again, thanks to you all for participating. I'd like to get it rolling in picking Zoe's brain a little bit. And again, it's just wonderful to be here with a Hall of Famer like you. Let's start with a little bit about your perspective as an athlete and a young person who finds out they have medical problems. We find that, and I'm going to ask you about both categories, athletes and then men in general. What do you think drives men not to get medical care in a preventive state? Is it that they feel they're immortal? Is it they don't have time? Give us a little bit of your insights. What prohibits men from seeking that kind of aggressive and appropriate preventive type care?
So, Doc, before I answer that question, I'm smiling because I'm looking in the crowd and I'm seeing women in the crowd. This is a men's health segment, okay? And the reason why I love this is because women play a very important role in men's lives as it pertains to getting them to do things they don't want to do. All right? So the women that are here, I applaud you all, because your hands are full dealing with your hard-headed significant others, So I'm hoping that this day gives you some information to share with your husbands or your significant others. Help them to be a little bit more proactive with their health, So, Doc, that's a great question. To answer your question, there's a lot of reasons, and you mentioned a couple. Men they use the excuse of being too busy. Okay. There's a lot of fear as well. Fear of finding out that there is something wrong. Also, men are afraid to change there's an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So guys get into a habit of living their life the way that they're comfortable. And if their doctor tells them that they got to stop doing this and to stop doing that, they don't want to hear that, So they don't want to go to the doctor and hear that they have to change their lifestyle. They don't want to do that. Also, trust, Doc. There's trust factor. A lot of guys don't trust doctors. They really don't. They don't trust that they have their best interest. That's why it's important that you find a primary care physician. And like all doctors, and I'm sure you can attest to this, each and every doctor, you all are medical practitioners. That means you practice medicine. Doesn't mean you're perfect at it. It means you practice medicine. So you got to find the doctor that will give you the best hypothesis, the best educated guess based on his medical knowledge that's going to help you. So not one doctor is for everybody, I've gone in doctor's office where you're sitting in the room, and if you don't engage in dialogue with the doctor and you aren't transparent in helping them understand what you're going through, then they can't help you. And then some doctors have the ability to get that out of you, but some doctors don't, okay? So it's important for you not to waste your doctor visit and be transparent with your doctor and tell them everything that's going on so they can help you, from that perspective. So there's a lot of different underlying reasons why men don't go to the doctor, unfortunately.
I think that's great points. First, again, we find as practitioners, very often men come because their wives are sending them. Or the wives are concerned about something, and we also want to make sure the wives take care of themselves, because as you mentioned, they don't have time. So the concept of prevention is ideal for both, but specifically for men's health. You did mention something I want to unpack a little bit. Do you think sometimes it is like a control thing that men are used to not being told what to do? That's not true, and they don't want a doctor to say, you have to do this, you have to do this. And if you feel that, you've seen a lot of doctors. What are the styles that you relate to better? And which are the styles that, if I come to you and say, take this pill or else, you're out the door.
Right.
If I say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. This is what we're going to do. What kind of styles have you seen that help someone like you who's a professional, accomplished, to say, hey, man, I better listen and I better do this?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to have seen many different doctors, and to tell you the truth, I've learned a lot, and the beauty in all of the time that I've been able to spend with doctors, that I tried to gather as much information as I could from them. So it kind of broke down that fear barrier of going to the doctor, So I'm gonna use this analogy, how many of you all ever walked into a classroom, knew you had a test to take, and you didn't study? Raise your hand. Me too. So how did you feel? You felt you were scared, you were unsure, you were doubtful, what have you. You scared you were gonna fail. So when I was diagnosed with kidney disease, when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, when I was diagnosed with these particular disorders, I tried to learn as much as I could, just as much as the doctors could learn. And I tried to learn as much as I could as it pertains to helping myself. So I wasn't just going to rely on the doctor to do it. I needed to be an active participant. So I educated myself on all different facets and approaches to helping me get healthy again. That means changing my diet and exercise and taking the medications on time and doing all the things I needed to do. So it broke down that fear. So I became a little bit more confident because I educated myself. I just didn't leave it in the doctor's hands to do his job. Yes, I needed him to do his job, but I had to do my job too, okay? So it's important that we all embrace the responsibility of our health and just don't leave it in your doctor's hands because, again, they're medical practitioners. I've had some doctors tell me to take a medication, and then I got a second opinion and a third opinion from another doctor, and they told me, you know what? Don't take that amount, take a different amount. Or, you know what? There's some holistic or there's some alternative medicines that can help you with what you're dealing with. So don't take that medication. So I had to come to a personal conclusion of what I needed to do to help myself.
And again, we spoke about that a little bit before.
Yeah.
The best outcomes are when the patient and the doctor have a partnership.
Exactly.
And it's not one or the other. And I'll say, and Joe, I hope I don't get in trouble, as doctors, we can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Right.
So to some degree, it really has to be that kind of partnership. Right. But the reality is it's a patient-centric approach. It's what the patient wants and what their expectations are. And the doctor should meet that patient need.
Exactly.
You subsequently found that.
Yeah, very much so. I was very fortunate to develop a relationship with all my doctors, and that's the only way that I was going to get, effective results in the long run by developing a strong relationship with my primary care physician and my doctors.
Take us through your first medical issue, which was the kidney issue. What transpired? How was it discovered? What did you go through mentally and with your family in terms of addressing it and finally successfully having it taken care of?
In 2000, I was coming back from the Olympics, and we had just won the gold medal in the Olympics in 2000, and I had noticed that I was feeling a little lethargic. I had to fly back for the birth of my child in the middle of the Olympics. So I've been traveling quite a bit. Mind you, the Olympics was in Australia, so it was a long flight, so it was a lot of traveling that I did that summer with the team. So, I'm in the gold medal game, and, I'm starting and I'm getting taped, and I noticed my ankles were a little swollen. The trainer said, oh, you've been traveling, you're a little tired, once you get through this game, you'll be all right, get back home, brushed it off. I got back home, we had to take a preseason physical, routine preseason physical, getting ready for the season, getting ready for training camp. And Dr. Neff at the particular time noticed some abnormalities in my body chemistries. So just a routine physical, I noticed that my creatinine level was a little bit elevated. I brushed it off, kept playing, working out, getting ready for training camp. And I said, I'll be all right. I just need some rest, doc. I need to hydrate myself. I'll be fine. A couple of days later, they told me, hey, you need to go see a nephrologist. I didn't know what a nephrologist was, a kidney doctor. Found out, that I needed a biopsy. Once they did the biopsy, they found out that I had a rare kidney disorder called focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. It's a disease that slowly scars the filters in the kidney. And then it's at some point in time, I would be on dialysis and I would need a transplant. I was never on dialysis. All right. I found a doctor in New York that gave me some medications to slow the progression of the disease down, but the disease still progressed. But I was able to get back on the court and play again. So again, that mentality of sucking it up, being strong, you'll be okay, that played a tremendous role. Then, ultimately I ended up having to get a transplant in 2003. Life-saving transplant. I got a transplant from my second cousin. I recovered for a year, got back on the court, and we ended up winning a world championship in 2006 with the Miami Heat. Yeah. So with all of that said, a routine physical identified that I had kidney disease. And I was ready to ignore the symptoms and continue to play. Now, that's a perfect example of why I encourage men to get physicals. Because a lot of these diseases that we are confronted with, diabetes, hypertension, they're all asymptomatic. Many of them are, you might have some symptoms and you just ignore them and you continue to go about your day. So it's important that you get an annual physical so you can identify these particular things, even getting a PSA check. Now, I know women are here, but guys, you don't have to worry about the finger anymore when you go to the urologist, You can just get a blood test, all right? Yeah. You can get a blood test and then they can find out whether or not your PSA is elevated, That's what happened to me. Another situation with my urologist, I didn't even know what a urologist was 5 years ago. Didn't even know what a urologist was. I'm going to be honest with you. I was with a group of men, and that's another thing, that men, we don't talk about our health together, but I was fortunate enough to be in a conversation, and these guys, we were in the back at this event, and we were talking, and somebody brought up, hey, man, I got a great urologist, and there was about 7 guys, and we were all talking, and I was like, what is a urologist? And the guy told me, and I was like, okay. I said, I need to go see him. I've never seen a urologist. So that prompted me to go visit this gentleman 5 years ago. I started the process. He checked me out. He followed me for a couple of years, and then come to find out in that couple of years period, my PSA was elevated, and he was a hands-on type of guy. And then he basically told me, hey, I need you to get an MRI. And then that led to me getting a biopsy. And then I found out 9 months ago that I had stage 3 prostate cancer. And the beauty of it is that I caught it early. It hadn't spread through my body and my lymph nodes. If I never went to see that urologist, because I was asymptomatic and couldn't believe that I had stage 3 cancer because I felt so good. I felt amazing. If I did not go to see that urologist, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today.
The concept of prevention gets lost quite a bit. Prevention is taking someone who looks and feels well, asymptomatic, and saying, is there any evidence of anything going on that can cause a problem in the future that's preventable?
Right.
If the answer is yes,
right,
we address it. God bless, if we find it's nothing, that's a good thing. And if we find something, obviously, the earlier we find it, with your kidneys, you got treatment, you felt good.
Yeah.
You got a transplant, never went on dialysis, which is a good thing.
Right.
With the prostate, got it taken care of, didn't spread. Right. So again, here's a case in point of an athlete, someone who takes care of themselves, feeling well. So don't get complacent because you feel well. That's preventive therapy. That's regular checkups. Don't be afraid of them. It's ultimately the patient's decision what to do, but the medical checkup is to find these things earlier. Which is
so
great.
Prevention is the reason why I'm here. I'm trying to encourage you to have that same mentality, so we can address these obstacles, these health obstacles, before they escalate into something more serious. We can address. I just had a dear friend that I lost a month ago. His name is Dikembe Mutombo, my college roommate. I've been knowing him for 36 years. All right, 58 years old, brain tumor. He died. He fought it for 2 years, but if he would have caught it earlier, his life expectancy would have been a lot greater. All right, so you can't ignore these symptoms. If you have consistent headaches, if you're tired all the time, there's some underlying reasons why. We're not robots, we're human. And I know you all look at professional athletes, you look at athletes as these superhuman beings. And I'm gonna tell you what, I got caught up in the hype. I thought I could leap tall buildings in a single bound. I did. I was 6% body fat. I was all muscle, but I'm human, man. And I'm here today because my proactiveness with my health, going to the doctor and taking care of myself from that perspective.
So we don't want to scare people. We want to empower people.
We want to empower them, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely want to empower them. That's what this is about.
Right.
We want to educate and empower. We want to encourage, too. Right. We want to encourage all of you all, to be active participants, to take charge of your health.
So you mentioned the blood test. It's kind of interesting because we're moving in medicine to much more precise, a blood test for prostate cancer instead of a physical exam and things like that.
Right.
And I think it's exciting about that.
Right.
What are you currently doing, we'll say, to stay healthy? You mentioned a little bit in your introductory comments, but what have you included in your lifestyle or included in your healthy living that you might not have had prior to these medical experiences?
Well, first of all, I've tried to educate myself as much as I can on foods. All right, because foods can heal you and foods can also kill you. They can. If you take them, if you're eating the wrong foods on a regular basis, and you're a middle-aged man, you got more behind you than you do in front of you. I was telling Bo that, I mean, Bo looks amazing. He's 70 years old. I'm glad to see you here, Bo. And, at a certain point in your life, your metabolism slows down.
Yes.
Okay? And we got to help ourselves by putting the right foods in our bodies, I was watching this podcast and this guy was talking about, he used Superman as an analogy. And he was talking about how Superman's weakness is kryptonite. So he said if we took some kryptonite and ground it up into dust and sprinkled it all over Superman's house, on his pillows and all of that, so that it slowly, he ingested it over a period of time, it would break him down over a period of time and made him weak. So it's no different than what we do to our bodies. If we continually eating fried foods or with processed meats or dairy products, all these are inflammatory foods. If we continue to put them in our body every day on a regular basis, something's bound to happen. Your blood pressure is going to go up. Your cholesterol is going to go up. Things are going to happen to your body that is going to require medical attention, So I try to help myself by eating a lot of leafy greens. I try to eat primarily a plant-based diet. I still enjoy my life. I eat fish occasionally. I exercise. I know that my largest organ in my body is my skin. So to help my body, I try to sweat as much as I can to detoxify my body. So I try to do all of these particular things to kind of help myself to stay in great shape. I'm on medications for health reasons. So the only way for me to get those out of my body is to drink a lot of water. I got to flush my body. Everybody here should drink 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. You should drink at least 64 ounces of water a day, which we don't do. So I've gotten in a habit making sure that I drink that much water per day, maybe even a gallon of water. So exercise, eating right, drinking a lot of water, leafy greens, things of that nature, trying to keep your body functioning properly, especially as you age.
And absolutely spot on nutrition. The way our diets have changed over decades has led to this ill health.
Yeah.
We want to avoid cancer, heart attacks, strokes. We know high blood pressure, high cholesterol. These are the warning signs. You feel them, but it's an underlying inflammation as you.
All of that. Yeah. No.
Do you practice healthy sleep habits? Is that part of your armamentarium?
Well, I try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. It's kind of hard because my job entails me to watch a lot of basketball, so I'm up at night watching basketball. But outside of that, I'm usually in the bed by 11, 12 o'clock. And I'm up around 6, 7. Around 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I try to start my day with exercise. The first thing I put in my body is water in the morning. The first thing I put in my body is on my nightstand. As soon as I wake up, I drink a full glass of water, So, I try to develop these healthy habits, and I've tried to eliminate a lot of unhealthy habits, for sure, But I still enjoy my life, but if you're consistent with unhealthy habits, something's got to give eventually.
But you, as you said, you take guidance from your doctors.
For sure.
You take advice, but you are your own advocate. You learn yourself. You figured out what works for you.
Yeah.
How about your family? Do you invoke healthy habits with your kids as well?
For sure. With my kids, I take them to the gym with me. We exercise together. I try to get them eating the right way, especially when they're around me on a regular basis. I try to, eat a lot of leafy greens and salads. I get them to eat smoothies, make sure they, juice smoothies, in the morning. If you're not able to get the proper amount of nutrition during the day, you can throw it in a smoothie in the morning. Berries are extremely good for your brain. They're antioxidants, all types of berries. I put a little kale in my smoothie every morning, blueberries, strawberries, a half a banana, and that's how I start my day, So
everything you just mentioned, natural, unprocessed. Right? Our bodies are seeing chemicals in processed foods that we've never seen before. Leads to inflammation. We shop the outside of the supermarket, right? The rim, don't go down the aisles.
And then also, making sure that you clean out your pantry of all processed and fried foods in your pantry. Clear that stuff out, man. Because if you have it there, you're going to eat it. I don't drink sodas, cutting out the sodas in your diet, drinking more waters and natural juices and what have you. All these particular things, help with your digestive system as well,
So prevention, healthy lifestyle, early detection, self-assessment, medical exams, and developing a relationship with your doctor if there's something that you need to focus on.
And listen, all of those things, Doc, and listen, look where we live. Look around. We live in South Florida. It encourages you to be outside and moving, all right? Being in your best health, Living here encourages you to do that, to stay active. Take advantage of days like this, Get up in the morning and walk and meditate and breathe some of this good air and take care of your body, All right? You have to be an active participant in your own health. You can't wait for somebody else to do it for you.
We're going to take questions from the audience in a moment. So if anyone has questions, raise your hand and we'll bring you the microphone. Any comments you want to make about the kidney donation, advocating for people to become donors and whatnot?
Well, listen, I speak for, the millions of people that are battling kidney disease. There's over 30 million Americans who suffer from kidney disease. You got another 30 million who are at risk. And that's not even including the hundreds of thousands of people that are on dialysis every day waiting for a kidney. Transplantation saves lives. I'm a living testament of it. December the 19th, I'm celebrating 21 years post-transplant. 21 years. Yeah. So I would not be here without the generosity and the blessing of one of my family members. So I've tried my best to take good care of my kidney. And I try to use this opportunity to create awareness and encourage other people that if you can save somebody else's life, do it. Do it. I've had plenty of people call me and they wanted to speak to my donor and understand how he's feeling. He's doing great. I saw him a couple of days ago. He has 3 kids now. He didn't have any children when he gave me the kidney, but he has 3 kids. He's an ex-Marine. He works for Homeland Security. He has 1 kidney, and he's doing great, So transplantation saves lives. So if you can be a donor, do it.
And I could also say I actually am a kidney donor, and it is an absolute blessing to be able to have that opportunity to really impact someone's life. And it's safe, and you do well afterwards.
Yes, so, you do. You do. Yeah, you definitely.
Well, this is great. Again, your passion, experience, your willingness to share with the community. Yeah. It's just an incredible for us to have you as a resource. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience regarding anything discussed?
Yeah.
Are they bringing the microphone around or? Yeah, let's second. Right in front.
We got the mic here. Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, Alonzo?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We're from the same neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm from Norfolk. You're from Chesapeake.
Okay, nice.
You went to Indian River. I went to Maury.
I was just in Chesapeake 3 days ago, visiting my old high school coach.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I am a cancer survivor. 12 years.
Beautiful.
Stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, including a failing liver and prostate.
Right.
15 rounds of chemotherapy right down here at UM.
Right.
9 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Still went to my office. I'm 71. I ride my bike every day. Mr. Goldstein down there, I do the 100-mile ride every year with the Miami Dolphins Cure for Cancer ride.
Awesome.
I talk to men about the importance of going to see a doctor. And I tell them, you know why women outlive us? Because they go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Guys, go see a doctor. Check your ego at the door. Go see a doctor. Many men, you don't know what your PSA. You never had a colonoscopy. You never had a prostate exam. Well, all the stuff you have, cars, money, jewelry, fortune, fame, and I played basketball overseas as well. All that stuff won't mean a thing when the man calls you upstairs.
Amen.
In addition to your doctors, you need to have a strong faith and will that you can make it. Never forget. Always reach behind and bring someone forward. Be an example. You can make it. Don't go in the corner and have a pity party. Oh my goodness, I got cancer, it's over. No. You can fight. You can win. That's an example right there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, man. Y'all give it up. Yeah. I mean, he hit home with every point that we're trying to emphasize today, This man could have easily given up, but he didn't. He kept fighting. I'm sure going to the doctor, you caught it early. You were able to treat it, taking care of himself. He's 71 years old. He still rides his bike. Physical fitness is a priority in his life. I'm sure he's made some adjustments in his diet as well. all these particular things, but all we got to do is get out in front of it. We do. We got to be proactive as men. We can't wait for somebody to do it for us. Yep.
Yeah, I'll say one's faith and philosophy absolutely impacts the success of their treatment. So we don't want to just make it about a medication or a scan or a treatment or something like that. The progress that's been made in heart disease and cancer, we got a long way to go, but the progress is incredible. Everyone's an individual. You're not a number. It's how you respond and how you handle it and how your quality life is maintained. So again, your experiences are beautiful and well represented, and we appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
Good morning, Alonzo.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Pretty good. I wanted to ask you, what was your, how'd you deal with the mental issues of going through prostate cancer? Because right now, I'm actually going through stage 4 soft tissue sarcoma. They caught it early 4 years ago. I was at stage 2. They did the surgery to take out the tumor. Came back 4 months later, did radiation, another surgery, came back again a month, 4 days later, spread to my lymph nodes. We did 6 cycles of chemotherapy. I finished it this year in February. Came back again in May of this year, and it spread to my arm again, my lymph nodes, my back, my shoulder, my chest, my lungs, and my left leg. Right now, they tell me I got to be on chemo for the rest of my life in order for me to live. So it's tough. Sometimes I have really bad days. I don't know how to move forward. So how do you deal with the whole mental strain of going through it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, God bless you, brother, in your fight right now. We're all praying for you.
Thank you.
So when I first got the news, I was deflated.
Yeah.
I was devastated, to hear that news that I had cancer, But I had to, get out of feeling sorry for myself. Because in the beginning, that's what I felt. I was like, geez, come on, another thing I got to deal with,
Yeah.
So immediately I formulated a positive mentality that I was going to beat this, because I'm a strong believer that the body follows the mind. If you give up here, the body follows right behind it.
I had a strong mentality back then when they first caught it early.
Yeah.
They told me chances of it coming back are in the low 20s.
Yeah.
It literally came back 4 months later, and every single time it came back, my mental strength kind of diminished a little bit.
Yeah.
And now they're telling me I gotta be on chemo for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So it's tough getting that mental strength back up.
Yeah, it is tough. It really is, man. And all I can say is through prayer, prayer definitely worked, and it worked for me. Asking God to give me the strength, the mental strength, in order to deal with this. Surround yourself with people that's gonna lift you up. And I was blessed to be able to have people in my life that continually lift me up through the process, and just continue to fight, man. Fight as much as you can, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, man, for sharing your testimony. Well, got any other questions? Right here.
Morning, everyone. What's up, Zoe? Grew up watching you. We've all watched sports here in Miami for a long time. Sports are changing, but so are our communities, our organizations, our families. And I'd love to protect the men that are playing these sports in football and basketball. The league has gone, people say soft, but I remember you throwing elbows and everything with Matumbo.
Right.
The first time I saw you this far up was because someone gave me tickets to come see you guys. So what are we doing in sports today with the team, with the players on the Heat, and other organizations that we can take forward to our regular jobs, our regular communities, to make space for men's mental health?
Doc, you want to answer that?
Could you phrase it again?
Mental health. What are we doing?
About the importance of mental health and
yeah.
So I'll put it this way, and I'll give you a statistic. 15% of people have heart attacks. We can't find an identifiable risk factor. It's more than just cholesterol, blood pressure, smoking, etc. And we do know one's behavioral health, as evidenced by their lifestyle and treatments, is an important part in stress, inflammation, and other illnesses. I think to give people medications or to say change your lifestyle by exercising and not address their social situations, anxiety, depression, sleep, etc., we're missing a big piece of the puzzle. It's hard because there's no blood test. There's no box to check. So it takes conversation, and the doctor has to be attuned to that. But I can tell you it's part of what we do, and we have to recognize the importance. They've shown when people have heart attacks, they're more likely to survive if their behavioral health is addressed and they do better. So I got to tell you that everyone here, I'm sure, has stress. It's not how we avoid stress, it's how we manage it. Exercise, getting a good night's sleep, eating properly. This is part of behavioral health improvement. But all I can tell you is it's absolutely an important part of our general health. It's probably more contributory than we can recognize because we can't test it easily. And it's something that you personally and your doctor should work with you on in addressing that.
You know, I also want to add to that is that you asked about the Miami Heat. We have a team psychologist that our guys speak to. Doc was with us throughout the whole training camp. He spoke to the younger guys. You know, he's available. He's a phone call away for each and every one of the players, you know. So, you know, you guys might not think about it, you know, but, you know, our guys, because of the stress of the demands that this sport places on each and every one of us as athletes, we need people to talk to as well. You know, so we have somebody in-house, and I love that Kevin Love in the past has been very outspoken about mental health and what have you, you know. So something that we promote, having somebody to talk to, you know, and I think that when you ask about the younger generation, it's important that we make sure that we have people available for them to talk to as well. Yeah.
If I could just add one more point to that again, we don't get sick at our convenience. So this is true for men and women. And that goes back to the preventive aspect, right? When you get sick, I mean, I'll share with you a quick anecdote, which made me actually change my lifestyle, which is 3 years ago. My wife is in the audience, or we're at a beach resort, and she's putting suntan lotion on my back. And she says, "What's this ugly thing?" And she took a picture of it. And my thought wasn't, "Oh my God, I have melanoma," but, "Oh my God, when am I going to find time for therapy because I have to work?" And that's messed up.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
So we need to find time for ourselves. We need to find time for our psychological state. If we find we're suffering, talk to family members, treat to see what you can do. Like I said, you can't get rid of stress. It's how you manage it. And don't let that interfere with your preventive medical opportunities.
Yeah. Great question. Anybody else? Right here in the front. We got a couple people over here. The one right here, right? You just walk right past one. You just walk past one. You just walk past.
Thank you. So, we know traditionally with black men, those conversations are difficult to have to get us to go to the doctor's office. Traditionally, what special conversations can we have with black men to do the right thing?
Right. Well, it has become taboo. It really has for men to talk about their health around other men. It really has. It's become taboo. But I'm on a group chat with about 17 of my closest friends, and we talk about that on the group chat. We talk about, hey, you know, I got my colonoscopy today, and the guys taking selfies in the hospital. Best sleep I ever had in my life. You know, so, you know, we open that dialogue up, you know, because we want to see our friends healthy, understanding the statistics that prostate cancer is one of the leading cancers for men of color, okay? Understanding those statistics and talking about it, encouraging men to go and get their colonoscopy. We had guys in our group that had never gotten a colonoscopy until we put pressure on them to do it, you know, because of our love for our brothers, you know. So what I encourage men to do is take the first step. Take the first step and open up the dialogue with your friends about going to the doctor and address your own personal needs, all right? Listen, when I was going through my prostate issues, I talked to all my guys about it, because I wanted them to take the same approach that I did. And come to find out, several of my friends got diagnosed with prostate cancer and they caught it early. Several of my friends, because I went through this, because I went public with it, it has opened up the dialogue and conversation with other men because I went public with it. And that's why this wasn't about me. I didn't want to make this about me. I wanted to make it about understanding that there's men out there that are walking around asymptomatic and don't even know that they have cancer growing inside them. And it's just crazy. It really is. I was at the game the other day, and I had a pastor walk by me, and he tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "Mr. Mourning, I'm sorry to bother you." He said, "But I just want to thank you." And I said, "For what?" He said, "Well, because of you, I went and got my PSA checked, and come to find out I had prostate cancer, and I caught it early." So just opening up the dialogue is extremely important. We got to take that first step as men and change the narrative. We got to change it.
We are social animals.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I find most people get their medical care from conversations with friends and family.
Yeah.
Not that my cholesterol's high today, I think. So if you've had that positive experience, you bring it to your community and you bring it to your colleagues. And I think that will have more efficacy than a piece of paper in the mail or whatnot. So I commend you on that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
we're out of time.
one more question. We got a question right here. One more
I
question.
should stay. It's up to you.
Yeah. One more question, and then we'll go. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so very similar to thank you very much. Very similar to the colored men in our community. That question was right on line with what I wanted to ask you, but more specifically, like you said, words like urologist, right? You didn't have that until you heard that until you had a conversation with a group of your friends. So the fact that you guys got together, had those conversations, what is something that we can do? I thank God that you did something like this on the grand scale, that someone like myself can come to and kind of grab some information that I can take back to my community. But what would you recommend for someone like myself wanting to take this to people of color in our community and have those conversations with maybe the younger generation, maybe some high schools in the area? How can we get a forum like this going to where this conversation becomes bigger than just a 40-year-old man hearing it, a 50-year-old man hearing it, but we're talking to guys in their 20s and their 30s.
Right.
Of course, the athletes, they have access to a lot of things that we don't in our community. So what would you recommend we do to kind of bring this conversation to the community itself?
Well, like I said, I plan on doing this annually. And I'm excited about, first of all, the partnership with Baptist Health, because, they have healthcare providers like Dr. Fialkow and all these other doctors, that understand these statistics that we're dealing with, So bringing your friends here, bringing the younger generation here so they can develop better health habits, I think is extremely important, So creating this atmosphere, one day I want to see this whole place full, and I want to be able to provide as much information as we can to promote healthy living. That's what we want to do. We want to get to the point where we have a preventative mentality and not waiting till something escalates or something gets worse. We want to have a preventative mentality, and that's why we're here today. So the best way is for you, yourself, to engage in dialogue with your friends about what happened, your experience here, and then next year you bring them here. You bring them here, and we start the process of growing some momentum, growing the momentum in our community and helping people be a little bit more proactive with their health. God bless you all. All right, and thank you.
Find additional valuable health and wellness information on our resource blog at baptisthealth.net/news. And be sure to interact with us on our social media channels for live and upcoming events. Baptist Health Talk is brought to you by Baptist Health, the warmer side of care.